So you're looking to move to town of Bel Air, which is one of the suburban areas in Tampa Bay area. Well, in this video, I talk pro and cons of moving to and living in Bel Air. Let's have a look. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of Orlando Living with Dee. And if this is your first time, press that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel. We would greatly appreciate it. We put in a lot of time, effort, and energy in bringing you community videos all throughout Tampa Bay, Orlando, and greater Orlando area. And today's community video is all about the pro and con of moving to Bel Air and living in Bel Air. So the number one pro of moving to and living in Bel Air is related to its location. You know, it's a small town. It's a small suburban town in Tampa. You're just about 30 to 45 minutes to the downtown Tampa. You're just about 30 to 45 minutes to the Tampa International Airport. You're very close to the Clearwater Beach and also to the Belleair Beach Town, which is just down the road. So if you like to be in and around Tampa, but you don't like the hustle and bustle of Tampa, you're not very far from it. So it does give you a very good, convenient location. You're also not very far from the Central Florida theme parks, which is just about an hour 45 minutes, hour 30 to hour 45 minutes, depending upon the time of day that you drive. Now let's talk about the next pro of moving to and living in Bel Air. So the other pro of moving to and living in Bel Air is that Bel Air is a small town, and despite its size, it gives you a really good cultural and artistic background. You know, you have a lot of concerts, you have art exhibition, music concerts, theater performances, and if you're into that art scene, then this will really keep you engaged. And this is one of the reasons a lot of people try to move, especially semi-retired people or retired people, because it gives you that cultural diversity, if I may, and because of the location too, as I mentioned. Now let's talk about the next pro of moving to and living in Bel Air. So one of the other pro of moving to and living in Bel Air is its location to all the major healthcare facility. Now Bel Air itself does not have a major hospital in Bel Air. However, you're not very far from the hospitals in Largo and Clearwater, and it has a good amount of hospitals and ER care. So this is really good because, you know, because the community has a lot of retiring and semi-retired people, it just gives you a good infrastructure for healthcare. Now that the pro is done, let's talk about the con of moving to and living in Bel Air. So now, before I get into the cons of moving to and living in Bel Air, I just want to give a quick disclaimer, and I do that in all my pro and con videos. This is just my take. There's no right, there's no wrong. It really depends upon your family and your situation. So the number one con of moving to and living in Bel Air is the cost of living, as I mentioned in my community video. And if you haven't seen it, it's going to be released very soon. If it's not released, is the average median price. The average median price is over $500,000 in terms of a single family home. So that is something to keep in mind, because your property taxes, your HOA is a little bit higher when you compare that to the neighboring city or the neighboring town. So that is one of the most important con of moving to and living in Bel Air. Now let's talk about the next con of moving to and living in Bel Air. So one of the other cons of moving to and living in Bel Air is that there is very limited job opportunities in the town of Bel Air. It's a small town, it's a tight-knit residential community. So in that way, they also not have a lot of nightlife. And if nightlife is your thing, then it may not work. But if family is your thing, then this would be great. You know, they have a small park, you have golf, you have a lot of recreational activities to be able to do that. But that is something to keep in mind. And that's why I said that the pro and a con is dependent upon you more so than just what I'm telling you. So take it with a grain of salt. Now let's talk about the last con of moving to and living in Bel Air. So So one of the last con of moving to and living in Bel Air is that you are so close to the water. It's beautiful, nice and sunny today, but that can turn ugly, especially when the tropical season or when the hurricane season hits with all the tropical winds and all the damage that water can do to your property. So that is something to keep in mind, because at that time you're kind of running more inwards towards Orlando. I personally live in Orlando, but that's again, pro and con is really dependent upon you and your situation. I hope our video brings in a lot of value for you, and if they do, press that thumbs up button. It's free for you, but it will definitely help us a lot on our videos. Until the next community video, thank you for watching. So now that I'm Instagramming and TikToking, make sure to check us out there and follow us out there too. I'm doing kind of silly things or funny things, or that's what my wife says that I always do. But anyhow, until the next community video, thank you for watching. Bye for now.